What's good, YouTube Sports Horse? Somebody over here. We got the de-evolution of NBA basketball. So today we got a Uncut Hoops video. I'm excited for this. I haven't seen Uncut Hoops video in a little minute. How about that? So let's get right into this video. Make sure y'all like and subscribe if you're new. Let's get right into this.
It's too much of an all-star game feeling where you got guys coming down, chucking up a 3, 4 or 5 seconds into the shot clock.
Baby Moses Malone, right? You shoot it short, get a couple rebounds, and get the score.
And so now you have 30 teams with the same recipe, with the same sauce. It lacks creativity. That's my problem with the game right now.
I love the one word you just said, creativity. And I agree with you. Creativity is lost basically in the game today.
You shoot a 3 and that ball come back out, you putting that on the floor and we get to the rim. We had an opportunity to shoot a 3.
Right.
You know, it was almost taboo to shoot back-to-back threes like that. It was all like, what you doing?
Finney Smith can't get it to fall. James tips it back out to Reeves. Gabe Vincent, his three-pointer.
What you doing?
See, and about this, the play style and creativity, a lot of people do not like Shai because the flopping and the foul baiting, people say. But I'm not going to lie, I like that Shai shoots mid-ranges. I at least like that part. He gets to the basket. A lot of people, like, even Anthony Edwards this year started taking a lot of threes. He started taking 10-plus threes a game this year. I mean, I know it's the method right now in the league, but, like, think about it. Anthony Edwards is, like, the top 3 most athletic player in the league. And he's also, like, shooting so many shots, like, too. It's crazy. But that's why I like Shai, though, because he going to shoot mid-ranges and get to the cup, too. I like that. He can shoot threes, but Shai don't really spam threes that much. And in the playoffs, he was, though.
From the Splash Brothers to the D'Antoni Harden Industrial Complex in Houston, we think it can't get any higher. Your team, Bill Simmons, is taking it higher. They are shooting over 53s a game.
When discussing NBA history nowadays online, there's a large quantity of NBA fans, mainly younger NBA fans, who think basketball prior to 2010 isn't worth watching and the players in those eras are simply inferior. And what are we always told? The game, quote-unquote, has evolved, and everything today is better than everything yesterday.
I disagree!
If you ask me personally, that line of thinking is pretty reductive and pretty ignorant. As looking through NBA history, the game isn't always ascending, always getting better. And looking at the modern era basketball, you can make a very strong case this era, the game has devolved into a worse product and worse game overall from a team perspective.
They can do more things than kids 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. But they're not better basketball players.
One of the ways the league is so different now is that we're now a developmental league. You know, when you came into the league, when I was in the league, we were already developed. You played for Coach K for 4 years. I played for Lute Olson for 4 years.
Positioning on the court, spatial relationships, man and ball, all the stuff that they would do in college, but they didn't go there. And if they did, they went for a year. These guys are neophytes.
When you look at someone like Adam Silver as the NBA's commissioner, it's all about...
Okay, so I'm kind of confused on this point, though. Because, wait, didn't they have it to where you could go to the NBA from high school until, like, a certain point in 2000s? Or was that, like, a new rule that they added and then they took it away at some point? Because they're saying, like, you had to go to college. So I'm assuming that you can go to the league out of high school was a rule they added new, and then they took it out. And the way they're talking about this.
Neophytes.
When you look at someone like Adam Silver as the NBA's commissioner, it's all about offense, individual skills, and showcasing those skills on a nightly basis. What the game isn't about is great team basketball that's also fan-friendly. And I think one of the biggest problems is actually too much freedom. Not just from the referees, the NBA, but the coaches overall. Nowadays, guys who aren't shooters are acting like shooters. Back in the 80s, 90s, even the early 2010s, you had 2, 3, and 4 guys per team that had the green light to pull threes whenever they wanted. Nowadays, it doesn't matter. If you're a great shooter, you have the green light. An average shooter, you have the green light. A bad shooter, still have the green light. In a lot of ways, more offensive freedom produces more bad basketball.
They see other people doing it, and they don't. They're so scared to coach their team.
Everybody don't have a.
I understand. First of all, you're 100% right. But I think these coaches are scared to coach these players because the players have so much power And no disrespect to the Chicago Bulls, but there's no reason they should ever shoot 53s.
Well, the Bulls also set the record a few weeks ago or a week ago with the Hornets with the most missed threes in the history of the NBA.
It's just the.
Why are the Bulls shooting that many threes for real? And they just set the record for the most misses. This is terrible coaching, by the way. I'm not going to lie. I feel like offense is part of it, but basketball isn't just about the players, though. The coaches can definitely bench players or tell the players a game plan. Like, let them know, stop shooting threes. Like, Vucevic, get to the post. Like, look at you. You about to break this one. So, I don't know. Like, if you're the coach and your team has the most missed threes record for that, you need to let them know, like, this is not us. This is obviously not where our game is headed at. Maybe the league, but it's not where we're headed at. So that's the coach's fault. I'm not going to lie.
And that just helps Kenny's point. Remember we watched the game, it was a 2-on-1. Oh, and the dude could have got a layup
on the Knicks.
And he went out to the three-point line. It was a 2-on-1.
That right there is one of my biggest pet peeves. The fast break today versus the fast break yesterday. In the 1980s, yes, guys in the fast break, they would shoot jump shots. That's a fact. Watch the film. They did that. For the vast majority of times, what do you see over and over again? Not them running the three-point line, but running to the paint for an easy two. A 3-on-1 fast break, 2-on-1 fast break should end in a layup with 2 points guaranteed. Nowadays, what it ends in is a bad three-point shot and a long rebound. Once again, proving more offensive freedom equals more bad basketball and more dumb decisions.
He's human, he missed it. The rebound is off to Scott, to Magic, 3-on-1, right side to Green, Green lay it up and in. But he really tried to get bailed out with a foul. Rebound to Michael Thompson, to Green, to Magic in the middle. Outside.
That's the video.
Cooper score. Ainge didn't draw iron with a bang.
Making that noise.
3-on-1 break. Magic and Scott. Scott off.
Much later.
That's it. We've seen some good defense here so far. Nice pass. Tatum back out. Derek White in stride. Can't get it to fall.
Neither do the Lakers and Jackson Hayes, but what's in reserve for the Celtics at the center spot?
Here comes Pritchard. Kicks it out. Hauser lines up a three.
And he went out to the three-point line. It was a 2-on-1.
Now, once again, looking at evolution of basketball, how things supposedly are always getting better, look at Boston LA in 1988. Both these teams' rosters were absolutely loaded. Of course, for Boston, Larry Bird, MVP player, Kevin McHale, All-NBA First Team, Parrish, All-Star, Dennis Johnson, All-Defensive First Team, also a French All-Star, and then Danny Ainge, a one-time All-Star in himself. This Boston team right there was absolutely stacked and loaded with Hall of Fame talent and All-Star talent. Looking at the Lakers, the exact same thing. Magic, much like Bird, a top-tier player. Worthy, an All-Star. Kareem, still an All-Star. Michael Cooper, a DPOY. And AC Green, a one-time All-Star after Kareem's retirement. For the vast majority of great teams in the 80s, you didn't just have one All-Star or two All-Stars, you had 3 or 4. And those All-Stars weren't typical All-Stars. They were guys like Bird, McHale, Magic, and Kareem, first ballot Hall of Famers, and top 10 players all time. Long story short, the 1980s was a different era of basketball. It was absolutely loaded with Hall of Fame talent, young and old. And looking at LeBron James, he knew this himself back in 2010. As comparing his own era to the 80s, he said verbatim, the 1980s wasn't as watered down as the NBA today. And the idea LeBron floated wasn't expansion, but actually contraction.
Fascinating is a word I use for the unexpected.
So LeBron right there in 2010 saying his own era, actually inferior to the 1980s, is a pretty bold statement considering evolution in the game.
I mean, so the 80s had less teams, right? So they had less players. So basically, if you're in the NBA, there's a better chance that you're a good player than trash, basically. Like, watered down. The NBA is watered down now because they allow more, like, there's more teams, they have more players on them. And the league in general. So the whole thing about the de-evolution stuff, when I'm thinking about this, is like, I don't know. It's like the league back then had less players. So I mean, there's gonna be teams that's gonna have multiple All-Stars on them, right? Like, there's less players there's less players there, so it's gonna be more good players that's gonna be on per teams. Now there's just like teams that kind of suck, but players that can't do much on some teams. Like, I remember Bronny even said it at one point, saying Bronny was better than players in the league now, like when he was in like college, saying some players in the league now are trash. So, shoot, if that's the case with the league, if the league is trash now with players, then I don't think it's a de-evolution. I think it's just more like he's like the watered down part. Like they have too many players. Like so, there's gonna be players in there, and then not only that, they got the trash players in there are not playing their role either. Like the coaches ain't telling them what role to play. They just all playing like street ball bait, like just shooting threes. They're all trying to get threes up when they shouldn't be doing that.
Always evolving. Now, speaking of evolution, looking at Boston, LA, both these teams' games were absolutely timeless. As looking at the Lakers, they could run the fast break, get easy twos and dunks, also mid-range jumpers. But at the same time, the game got close, could slow it down in the half court, play through Kareem, even Magic in the post. And looking at Boston, a very similar profile. Yes, they needed to could push the fast break, push the tempo, get easy twos and dunks via Bird's passing. But in the half court, they were equally as deadly, as guys like Parrish, McHale, even Bird in the low post were absolutely filthy.
See, when I'm thinking about this too, if it was less players, I'm not completely 100% sure if it was less players, but I'm assuming it was because of less teams. Then that means the competition probably was definitely harder then, because there's more good players you're playing against. Like, like I was thinking about like the OKC won a championship and Pacers won. Those aren't teams that was like where you was thinking like, oh, they was gonna go for sure. Like OKC, yeah, but Pacers, those are just two teams that like they had a good coaching and they had players playing their role. Like they didn't have people just straight. They didn't have their whole team just trying to spam certain threes and do stuff they couldn't do. Like everybody was playing a role. I feel like that's how you're gonna. That's the only way to win. You have to play as a team for real to really win. You have to play as a team. That's why the super team era, those teams don't be working because it doesn't matter. Like you could have 3 all-stars in your team, but bro, you don't have no role players. That's what's really important. Really, because the all-star on the team has his role. He has his role to do, and the role players have their role too.
And then guys like Ainge, Seasting, even Dennis Johnson had knockdown jumpers, not just from 3, but also from 2. And looking at Boston's team stats, from the field, above 50%. From 3, 38%, and from the line, 80.3%. If you put this Boston team in the modern NBA, from the field, they'd rank first in field goal percentage. From 3, they'd rank second, and from the line, they'd be top 5. This Boston team right here at 88, they were the championship Celtics, the best team of all time. But look at their overall skill sets, very well rounded, and could kill you in a variety of ways.
Bird wrestling. Bird turned at the base, 18-foot high archer. Oh! Get it, McHale got it. McHale comes out of the backcourt. No fast break here. Long lead to the baseline to Bird. He can make every kind of a shot.
To see the game to come to this point after 30-some years, and teams are taking 35, a lot of them over 30 three-pointers a game, some 50. I never shot that many. As I got a little bit later in my career, I shot more, but I never heard anybody to use it as your advantage. You know, I've always used it at the end of the game. If you're down 1 or if you're up 2, you make a three-pointer, demoralizes the team. Now they make one, nobody even flinches.
For a lot of teams nowadays, they have one strength. That's all they do. Look in the modern-day Celtics, what's their strength? Of course, shooting threes. That's option 1, 2, 3, and option 4. And come playoff time, it's basically boom or bust. They make their shots, they're going to win. They miss their shots, they second-round exit like we saw this season. If you look back at 1987, a matchup of LA versus Boston, the total amount of threes taken was only 14. That in today's era is a first quarter total. Back then, it was a pretty hefty amount. But looking at those guys...
Nah, 14 is crazy. They barely was shooting threes compared to now.
They were still great shooters, even from 3, despite the low volume. And one thing I do want to highlight is the mid-range jump shot. This game from 87, the Celtics, 24-55 from the mid-range. The Lakers, 23-38. Combine both these teams at 50.5%. If you look at the raw stat numbers, field goal percentage, 2-point percentage, 3-point percentage, to gauge how good a shooter was, it doesn't do it justice. As looking back at the 80s, guys like Seasting and DJ were technically 4 3-point shooters. But watching the film, they weren't bad shooters, especially from the mid-range.
He's guarded by Magic. In low goes Bird. He's at the baseline to be double-teamed by Magic and Cooper. The pass is cross-courted over to Seasting. Seasting's 20-foot jump right away, and he's hot. Boston could catch him. Now here is the ball to Seasting. Seasting baseline to Roberts. Back to Seasting. 18-footer by Seasting is good again. Bird's got it. He can drive that base in a hurry if you give him any opening at all. He gives to Roberts. Roberts pass. Volleyball. The tap pass to Seasting. Inside, McHale bounces Thompson out of there. Ball goes into McHale. Back to Dennis. They're double and triple teaming over the open man. Seasting 18. Goes in low to McHale. Full set on the clock. Out in front to Ainge. Over to Seasting. Another 20-footer. Another basket.
Oh, beautiful.
Now, stopping that film right there, what do you guys notice? Not just good shots, open looks,
great ball movement,
shooters, but great ball movement to get those shots. And what you rarely saw was a one-on-one ISO, 4 guys watching, this guy dribbling, and then shooting. All these shots came off kickouts, reversals, great team basketball that led to great shots. Nowadays, that's few and far between. And looking at guys like Bird and Magic, of course, high-volume players who put up gaudy stats. But looking at their scoring, they weren't guys who dribbled 24/7, had the ball all the time. And Larry Bird in this game, a total of 14 made field goals.
You know what? I understand what y'all mean. I get it. I'm starting to get it because, like, nowadays, as a superstar, all-star, you're like, it's more about the players, and the game is way more catered towards you. Because it's the amount of freedom that players have as a superstar on a team to just come down and just take threes whenever they want to. Players back then, like Bird, and superstars like him and Magic and all that, even probably Jordan's era a little bit too, right? The 90s too had that. Jordan had that too in the 90s. Like in the 80s and 90s, some of the little bit too early 2000s too. Like the players didn't have this much freedom. So like you had to play within the offense. Nowadays, you could be a role player and then just come down and shoot anything. Like, players back then were playing through the offense and still dropping these nice stats. Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, so the difference when James Harden had that streak where he was dropping 40, 50 points, that was tough Hall of Fame. I'm not discrediting that at all. But he completely had the keys to the offense. And, like, the offense was his like, system, basically. It was an ISO game for Harden. Like, if other superstars had that same type of like leverage, they'll be able to do the same thing. So I kind of understand what the players mean too. Like when they talk about how certain players are better than others, how the media thinks that way, but some of them just had a better situation. And I understand that because it's the same way in college. Like even going to college, depending on what college or system you're in, like you might not have the keys, and you might be good, and you can't show it. You might be able to shoot good, but can't show it. You might be able to hoop, but you can't show it. So like. I understand. Like Bird was dropping this amount of points in Magic, with the field goals they're taking, not taking as many threes, and they're playing within the offense. So that I understand now. I'm getting it. I'm starting to make sense.
Only 25 dribbles. Magic Johnson, 6 made field goals, took 23 dribbles. In a lot of ways, Magic and Bird being so unselfish, playing off ball so often, it made their teams more deadly, more efficient, passing the ball and shooting. From a fan perspective, watching one guy dribble 25 times shoot a jump shot, that's not great basketball. Watching 4 or 5 pass it backdoor cut, that's great basketball, entertaining basketball for the players and fans.
It was a pass. Now the ball over to the right side to down the middle of Bird. He lays it up and lays it in. Into Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They're fronting him with Parrish. Great defense. They force Kareem 17 feet to the right side. Give and go to Magic underneath. Score. It's a
and
ball game. Out in front. Oh, pass to Bird underneath, and they score. They succeeded. Now it's screened by Michael Thompson. Magic around it. Pass to Scott. Comes underneath. Gives it out to Kareem. 16-footer by the...
And mind you, I know they definitely had plays for the superstars on the teams. But as you can see, Bird's not like... He doesn't have the ball at the top of the key dribbling the air out. Getting ISO play off. Like, the coach is not letting that slide. Like, Bird not going to be top of the key, 20-20, hezzy cross, step back, hezzy pump fake. Like, he not going to have the keys to do all that. He could, but he don't have the keys. He's not going to do all that. He probably did have the keys, too. He probably just didn't like to play that way, though. Bird, from what I've heard from Bird, he wouldn't even want to play that way. That's not him. So, but he definitely could if he wanted to.
Ainge has got the ball. Ainge looks back door, gives it to Perry, scores!
Although 1987 was 40 years ago, watching games like Boston vs. LA, there's so much nuance, so much variety in these teams' play styles. Compared to 2025, it's far more entertaining, and from a team perspective, it is indeed better basketball. Guys back then, they weren't pulling off these dribble combos between the legs, step backs, all the fancy stuff you see nowadays. One reason they weren't doing that, because they simply weren't allowed to do it due to the rules, but also the coaches, much more strict in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. So when it comes to great basketball, great team basketball, even great individual basketball, all the flash, all the pizzazz, it's cool to look at. But at the end of the day, what really matters is this.
You see, like, this looks cool and all, but this is starting to look like you got Jaylen Brown staring at Luka Doncic right now. Like, Tatum is coming off 2 screens on the other side, and he out here doing this.
It's cool to look at. But at the end of the day, what really matters is...
Like, come on, JB. Highest paid player in the league, too, right there. So, like, I see what you mean. Like, it's cool to look at. It is cool to look at sometimes. But when it comes to watching the game and seeing each different team have their own different system and different play styles that they playing by the coaches. So, like, you watch this team go up against this team, you see different type of play styles clash. It's kind of like how high school ball be. Because in high school basketball, that's how it be. In college, that's how it be. So I see why certain people like to watch college, because you still get that coaching strictness. And you get that system. Like, you know what I'm saying? You get to see different type of play styles clash with each other. When the NBA has everybody shooting threes, certain players can't even show their creativity that much either. So I'm seeing what Lou Will talking about. Because someone like Lou Will probably not trying to spam threes. If this game probably was to get to the midi, shot create a little bit, 1-2 dribbles. But maybe I haven't seen Will highlights like that, so I don't know.
The substance and the quality of basketball. While individual basketball can be fun, from a fan perspective, it's not the most entertaining. What's entertaining is team basketball great passing, cutting movement, low post dominance, and fast break excellence. The difference between 80s basketball
I wouldn't say, I feel like the low post, I wouldn't add that in there. I feel like a good, like, I feel like how it was in 2010s, it was straight. Like, I feel like there wasn't too many threes being too much like that. Like, the play styles were still there, bruh. I feel like 2010 still had the play style. I don't think you need too much low post dominance. I'm not trying to see too much posting up like that. Not too OD. But like, I think 2010s had it like 2010s, 2000s. 90s was straight too with it. They are always straight. Honestly, they always straight. But you don't need too much low post dominance. I feel like the way it was in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and then you add like a little bit more catch and shoot threes a little bit, but not too much, like not too OD. I think that was 2010s.
Well, nowadays,
I just said a whole bunch of nothing.
Have a variety of skill sets that
No
can put you from anywhere on the floor. Nowadays, due to the era, the skills, the rules, how teams dominate is one way or the other. Look at a team like Denver. In the post, they're absolutely dominant. But from 3, so-so for this era. Then a team like Indy that plays at breakneck speed. In the post, virtually non-existent. But on the fast break, extremely deadly.
Hey!
LA could play both those styles. From a fan's perspective, that's much more entertaining than a one-track team that plays one way. As always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think the Pacers and the Thunder led in pace or something like that. There was some stuff that they both led in with each other. I think they both led in pace when it came to the NBA Finals and the matchup. But I enjoyed this video. I'm gonna start watching more Uncut Hoop videos for sure. I enjoyed this video a lot. I liked watching this with y'all. I really did. He had a lot of good points in this. I like how he had the interviews at the beginning too. Like, I like how he showed like Lou Will talking, and then he showed like the commentators too. The Bill Simmons show. I like how he showed that as well. It was a good video, Uncut. Good video. I hope you have a good day, man. Make sure y'all hype the video too, so we can get this video on the leaderboards, man. We can show this. When you put hype on the videos, it puts it on the leaderboard, and we can show more people the video, man. So it's your boy Tori Simon. I hope y'all have a great day, and I'm out.